This is the TJ Evans Show, and here's my uncle TJ Evans.
Yeah, I'm your host, TJ Evans, and this is another episode of the TJ Evans Show. And before we get started, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Do you believe in the government? Do you still believe in the corporate media, news stories, and the headlines that you read on social media? And if so, why? Comment down below and let me know, because I have no understanding of why anybody would believe them, especially when a lot of things that they told us were right-wing conspiracies and were lies turned out to be facts. And a lot of things they've been telling us was the truth turned out to be lies. And I'm talking about, like, let's start simple about how racist this country is and how there's so many racial crimes going on against black people. And one of the biggest stories that they had was Justice Smollett.
We live in a society where, as a gay man, you were considered somehow to be weak. And I'm not weak. I am not weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak.
But come to find out, he was not attacked by two white men wearing MAGA hats. He was attacked by Nigerians wearing MAGA hats, and he still actually believes in what he says.
I am not suicidal. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal.
And the crazy thing is, he actually still believes this. And they let him out 6 days later without any remorse. And I guess that's justice for Jesse. But how about the shootings that have been happening? The epidemic of unarmed black people being gunned down and killed by the police. When a lot of those stories, I'm not going to get into those, but a lot of those stories were manufactured in a way that people would be emotionally involved. So when this happened, Black Lives Matter appeared. And these people claimed to be Marxists, and they said they claimed to help black people, when in all actuality, they weren't here to help black people, because one of the things that they had in their mission was to destroy the idea of the nuclear family, which is something that black people need, because the nuclear family consists of a father. So, yeah. Fatherhood is important in black lives, so I don't know why would anybody support a group that would like to eliminate the father in the household. And I know they would like to eliminate the father because this group is founded by black lesbians. And if they claim to be Marxists, why were they collecting money from black people and nobody asked where the money was going? But we come to find out that the money was going to buy $1 million estates where these people could fund their revolution. So, Marxists that believe in capitalism. Go figure. But what about what they were talking about with the LGBT community? They said there was a right-wing conspiracy in saying that gay marriage will be a slippery slope to all types of heathenism and a lot of debauchery. Said it was a lie. Who would expect that? Like, nothing crazy is going to happen. Well, come to find out that opened the door to a lot of things. And one of the things was transgenderism. And transgenderism is funny because it kind of conflicts with feminism. And if you don't believe me, then why are biological men competing in women's sports, eliminating a spot for an actual woman to achieve her goals? And why is the news media and all the elitists, the people on the left, why are they cheering for this? Because, you know, it's kind of disgraceful that someone like an individual like Leah Thomas will be able to beat out Olympic swimmers and to take positions that were rightfully meant for biological women and just win and dominate. And Leah Thomas is not the only individual that's doing this. In a lot of women's sports, there are a lot of trans individuals that are setting records. I mean, shattering prior records that were set by biological women, real women. But the LGBT community didn't just bring in, I guess you would say, the deletion, the extermination of feminism. They also brought in things that could harm the children. Now, before we get started on this, I want you to remember that when we were children, what we were taught. And I remember that I had conversations with individuals that I knew about. We were taught things that we couldn't use in life. We rather have been taught how to open up a bank account, about economics, how to run a business, how to build a business. And we wanted that for our children. So I figured that the people in our generation will push for that. But no, they didn't push for that. They actually pushed for teaching kids about sexuality and about transgenderism, about the infinity number of genders that there are out there, even though, I mean, how could you actually teach kids infinity numbers of genders? It's pretty much impossible. And what is the point of teaching this? So Governor Rob DeSantis out of Florida, he pushed a bill that said, you know what, you're not allowed to teach kids about sexuality. Didn't say specific ones. Said these kids in this age group from, I believe it was from 4 to 9, or it was 3 to 9, you can't teach them about sexuality, which I kind of think you should probably push their age limit a little bit more. But everybody on the left got upset about this. I mean, it got so bad that they actually talked about this at the Oscars, not understanding what was going on in the bill.
Good morning, Governor DeSantis. Ron here. Don't say gay. Don't say as the first two words in a sentence spoken by a political leader of a state in the United States of America. Don't say. Don't fucking say, you fucking Nazi pig. Say. First Amendment. Read about it.
Well, we're going to have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're going to have a gay night.
Parental rights and education, what critics call the Don't Say Gay bill, is on the Senate floor.
Does it say that in the bill?
I know that you support.
Does it say that in the bill?
I'm
asking you to tell me what's in the bill, because you are pushing false narratives. It doesn't matter what critics say.
Well, it says it bans classroom instruction on sexual identity and gender orientation.
For who?
For
grades pre-K through 3. So 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And the idea that you wouldn't be honest about that and tell people what it actually says, it's why people don't trust people like you, because you peddle false narratives. And so we disabuse you of those narratives. And we're going to make sure that parents are able to send their kid to kindergarten without having some of this stuff injected into their school curriculum.
They said that they weren't trying to groom the kids, that they weren't trying to teach kids about sexuality or how to have sex or anything. Me personally, I believe that all these individuals who actually want to teach sexuality to kids and make it such a big deal, I believe that they're pedophiles. But they're saying they're not trying to groom kids to do these things. But, I mean, apparently they are, because teachers are actually quitting their jobs because they're not able to teach their kids, well, not teach their kids, but they're not able to teach their students about their sexuality. You don't need to teach kids about sexuality because, one, it's weird. They're little kids. Why do you want to teach kids about sexuality at all? And two, what I want to know from the beginning is, how is this helping the kids in life? How is this going to help them be better productive citizens? Because teaching kids about genders and all these different things is just teaching about sexuality and making one of the biggest things in the country anyway is a way to make an empire crumble. So what's the point of this? Like, me personally, I didn't know. I can't even tell you like 4 or 5 of my teachers' names. So it's amazing how teachers are actually trying to teach kids about what they're doing in their gay relationships, and that they're actually quitting their jobs. But they say that it's not a gay agenda. Even though people were like, nah, it seems like a gay agenda, especially what you see on television and how the homosexual community is being represented more and more in each and every show that you watch on television, even on children's shows. But everybody on the left, all the elitists, they told us, nah, that's not what's going on. But come to find out that there are writers at Disney who said, yeah, that's what we kind of was doing.
Super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and like our leadership over there has been so welcoming to like my like not at all secret gay agenda. And so like I feel like I felt like it was, I mean, like maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess like something must have happened in the last like they're turning it around, they're going hard, and then all that like momentum that I felt, like that sense of I don't have to be afraid to like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background like I was just wherever I could just basically adding queerness to like if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of it. But like I just was like no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
And not just the writers at Disney, it was also the executives. I mean, just because they have situations going on in their lives, they feel that the kids in your household who they have no type of control over, they feel like they should have control over and put it in the shows that they watch because they know that you're not going to pay attention to it.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And that was the thing that really got me, because I have heard so much from so many of my colleagues over the course of the last couple weeks, in open forums and through emails and phone conversations. And I feel a responsibility to speak, not just for myself, but for them. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads and narratives in which gay characters just get to be characters and not have to be about gay stories. And so that's been very eye-opening for me, and I can tell you it's something that I feel perhaps had this moment not happened, I as a leader and me as my colleagues would not have focused on. And going forward, I certainly will be more so. I know that we will be, and I hope this is a moment where, the 50% of the tears, sorry, are coming.
So how could you feel like it's not an agenda? How could you feel like this is not something that they're trying to push on the kids? And not only do they want to teach your kids about sexuality and all the multiple types of genders, to infinity and beyond, but they also want to teach critical race theory. That thing that tells minorities and especially black kids that they're not able to do anything in America because of racism. Also that thing that they said was a lie.
His campaign promise, and he was making this promise in Loudoun and in Alexandria, is on day one, I'm going to ban critical race theory. That is like us banning the ghosts.
Right.
There are no ghosts.
That's right.
So we can say, you know what, 7 p.m. we're banning the ghosts. There are no ghosts.
Largest teachers union says it supports teaching critical race theory in public schools.
Parents are fighting with school boards in cities and towns across the country over curricula that they believe teaches white kids that they are racist. None of this is actually happening.
Sneak it in places they're not going to look, like maybe science.
White people are dumb. That is a key message right there.
If you come from a supportive family environment, take a step forward.
And my governor has put into place some ridiculous legislation that many governors across the country have put into place, such as I can't teach anything divisive, I can't teach critical race theory, and I can't teach about racial equity. This is at all public schools, colleges, and universities. So, teachers, in the past, we've been activists. After the show of last year, we really need to stand up.
And it's bad because nobody is lesser than anyone, especially in America, because this is the land of the free. And I know this because in America, we have more black millionaires and billionaires, more successful black individuals and minorities than any other country in the world. The kids in this generation, they're going to be the ones that take care of us. And I don't think the primary focus should be on sexuality. And especially when it comes down to the U.S. military, because there's this guy named Secretary Austin who plays a major role in the military. He thinks that it's okay to to not worry about defending the country or training soldiers properly. He thinks that it's a better idea to teach the military about critical race theory, about right rage, about how racist things can be and how to help with your racism and how to not be racist. And when he was questioned about this, instead of actually getting weapons that are up to par with, you know, countries like China who don't like us and countries like Russia who don't like us, he kind of felt different about it when he was questioned by this congressman.
I am certainly aware of briefings that we provide to Congress.
But it's not just the hypersonic. It's all over the world. It's in Taiwan, where China last year flew more sorties than ever before. It's North Korea, on pace to shatter prior records, the number of missiles that they are testing. And so while everyone else in the world seems to be developing capabilities and being more strategic, we got time to embrace critical race theory at West Point, to embrace socialism at the National Defense University, to do mandatory pronoun training. Do you assess?
You know, it's again, this is the most capable, the most combat critical force in the world. It has been, and it will be so going forward.
Not if we continue down this path.
To do that.
Not if we embrace socialism.
The fact that you're embarrassed by your country.
No. I'm embarrassed by your leadership.
I'm sorry for
I am not embarrassed for my country. I wish we were not losing to China.
I wish we were.
You know what? That is so disgraceful that you would sit here and conflate your failures with the failures of the uniformed service members.
It's crazy how he doesn't understand what's going on. He doesn't know what's happening in his own military. There are individuals in the defensive sector in the government who actually already came out and said that China's way ahead of us. And if you want to know what hypersonic weapons look like, these are the things that they're toting around in their country. So yeah, good times. And before I keep going, let me know, do you believe in the government? Just really, I really want to know. Comment down below. Do you believe in the government, and how and why? Especially when one of the biggest scandals that came out was about the Hunter Biden laptop. Individuals told us that it was a whole lie. Individuals who said, no, this is Russia propaganda. This is nothing but that. Disinformation. President of the United States told us that he had over 50 individuals, retired intelligence community individuals, say that it was a lie.
50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage.
This is classic Trump. We have 4 days left, and all of a sudden there's a laptop. There's overwhelming evidence that from the intelligence community that the Russians are engaged.
I still think that the stories from the fall about your son Hunter were Russian disinformation and a smear campaign, like you said.
Yes.
Yep, come to find out, it was actually the truth. And even the individuals on CNN, they had to just say, you know what, we was wrong about it.
We have some brand new CNN reporting. A Justice Department investigation on Hunter Biden, the president's son, has intensified over the last several months. The investigation has been going on since 2018, and this stems from Biden's business dealings, from Hunter Biden's business dealings in foreign countries like Ukraine, while his father was serving as vice president.
But it's not a small thing to be wrong about, because one, a lot of stuff is on that laptop. I mean, a lot of stuff. And two, it kind of shows that, hey, maybe that there was some type of a coordination. I don't know, what would you call it? Some type of collusion between people in the media and government in order to get Joe Biden elected as president. Maybe that probably happened, but they'll probably get this video struck on YouTube. So I'm gonna put quotations on that. But it was one of those things that statistically they did a survey, and they come to find out that a lot of individuals said, nah, if I would have known about the Hunter Biden laptop, I probably would not have voted for Joe Biden. I mean, enough individuals to actually sway the full election that you wouldn't even have to worry about the safest and most fairest and freest election ever conducted in United States history. But this Joe Biden laptop shows that he actually had a connection with the Ukraine government, the Russian government, and the Chinese government. Even though the news media doesn't want to mention the Chinese government, it shows that Hunter Biden and Joe Biden are actually friends with these different governments and are making money from them, which shows that the president of the United States is compromised.
As the ranking member said in his opening statements, this has been used, just about anyone that was involved in the Trump campaign had it used against them to get information and do a prosecution, do the whole Mueller investigation, which found out there was no collusion. We obviously had collusion here. Maybe it does need to be applied, at least in a consistent fashion, to Hunter Biden. We know Hunter Biden took millions of dollars from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. We know he took millions of dollars from energy companies in Ukraine and millions of dollars from companies in China with ties to the Chinese Communist Party, including, as the ranking member mentioned, CEFC, which paid him $4.8 million in 1 year's time. The chairman of the committee just said, we're not here today to discuss individuals. But I do think the American people would like to know the truth about this story and why it was kept from them, kept from we the people, prior to, as I said before, the most important election we have in this nation.
And also, a couple small things like the January 6th riot that was supposed to be a riot. Yeah, people are getting acquitted from that. A lot of those individuals being set free. And it's scary because they were detained without any type of due process. And also Governor Whitmer, the supposed kidnapping plot that was supposed to come up against her. Yeah, 2 of those individuals were acquitted and 4 of those individuals were let off because of a mistrial. And also the other individuals who were supposed to commit this kidnapping were FBI agents. The government also lied to us about inflation, trying to blame it on Russia and the invasion that they did in Ukraine. But let's be honest. We already saw the gas prices were rising, and we already saw that groceries was rising. And I was paying attention to this because I still got to work a regular job. I gotta clock in on Monday. So yeah, I pay attention to these things. At the end of the day, the biggest lie that we're being told is that we're all alone. That we're the only ones that don't want to teach about critical race theory and teach kids about sexuality. But honestly, we're not. People are waking up each and every day. I'm talking about even Generation Z. And this is one prime example from a college freshman who had to ask a couple questions to CNN anchor Brian Stelter, and Brian Stelter pretty much dodged it like a politician.
I'm a first year at the college. My question is for Mr. Stelter. You've all spoken extensively about Fox News being a purveyor of disinformation, but CNN is right up there with them. They pushed the Russian collusion hoax. They pushed the Jussie Smollett hoax. They smeared Justice Kavanaugh as a rapist, and they also smeared Nick Sandmann as a white supremacist. And yes, they dismissed the Hunter Biden laptop affair as pure Russian disinformation. With mainstream corporate journalists becoming little more than apologists and cheerleaders for the regime, is it time to finally declare that the canon of journalistic ethics is dead or no longer operative? All the mistakes of the mainstream media, and CNN in particular, seem to magically all go in one direction. Are we expected to believe that this is all just some sort of random coincidence, or is there something else behind it?
It's too bad. It's time for lunch.
You have 30 seconds.
No, I mean,
Brian.
there's a clock that says 30 seconds. But I think my honest answer to you, and I'll come over and talk in more detail after this, is that I think you're describing a different channel than the one that I watch. But I understand that is a popular right-wing narrative about CNN. I think it's important when we talk about shared reality and democracy. All these networks, all these news outlets have to defend democracy. And when they screw up, admit it. But when Benjamin Hall, the Fox correspondent, was wounded in Ukraine, the news crews at CNN and the New York Times stopped what they were doing, and they tried to help. They tried to help him get out of the country. They tried to find the dead crew members. That's what news outlets do. That's how they actually do work together, to your question about sharing those kinds of connections and trust. We don't talk about it enough, though. We don't share that reality about how that happens. And with regards to the regime, I think you mean the President Biden. The last time I spoke with a Biden aide, we yelled at each other. So that's the reality of the news business that people don't see, that people don't hear. They imagine that it's a situation that simply is not. But I think your question, it speaks to the failure of journalism to show our work and show the reality of how our profession operates. We have a lot of work to do, I think.
Yeah, Brian Stelter didn't answer that question. And I forgot about Russiagate too. Yeah, Russiagate turned out to be a lie. All that Russia collusion and all that stuff, it was a lie. Why isn't anybody asking any questions like that? But this young man, he understands what's going on. And a lot of American people, they think like this and they feel the same way. So don't think that you're all alone. So the first thing you have to do is pay attention who's running your local government, who's running your PTA, who's over the school district, who's over housing, the HOA, just pay attention to the local government, vote people out who are not going to help, and also try to get these Democrats out of here who is trying to just poison the country, because right now it seems like a lot of people on the left are just trying to crash the country while people are still occupying it. The rich are getting richer at a crazy rate, and the middle class is almost extinct. So do your own research, do what you're supposed to do, stay prayed up, and remember, man, take care of your kids, man. Future is the kids, future generations. Preserve it. All that good stuff. I'm your host, TJ Evans. Y'all do the social media thing, like the video, comment down below on what you really think. Do you still believe in the lies? Have enough lies been exposed for you to just be like, I don't want to be a Democrat, but I don't want to be a Republican. I just want to hear the truth and just get the people out of here who don't want to help me. But yeah, I'm your host, TJ Evans, with TJ Evans Show, Royal Family Studios. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube and Rumble pages and Facebook. Check us out. Yeah, peace. And if you don't care about the country anyway, just,